turkey hunting this morning, and of course, like always, I got my butt kicked, but that's okay. Taking this opportunity to do a short little video on self-filming setup, something I couldn't find a whole lot of resources on when I was looking for what to do. So I wanted to go over my setup, and maybe it will help you if you're interested in self-filming your turkey hunts. First of all, the cameras that I'm using. I'm using a GoPro 360. This is so I can get a second angle when I've got the main camera, and John is shooting on the main camera right now, which would normally live right here on the tripod. But so I've got the main camera, and then I like a second angle. You don't have to get a second angle. I like a second angle, and I'm trying out the 360 camera this year because I think it might be cool to see, you can reframe your shot, and I can shoot forward. I can basically see everything. So trying the 360 camera out. I haven't shot one on film, a turkey on film with 360, so I don't have any demo footage, but you get the idea. So I like to set the camera kind of right at arm's length. Generally, I'll put it somewhere, with a bush or something, so it's kind of camouflage, but I've also stealth stripped it and painted my support here, and I'll put links to all these supports that I use. This is one I bought. This support is one I bought on Amazon that came with the ball head, the GoPro 360 Max. I'll put a link to that. The tripod, all the stealth strips. I stealth strip everything for silence and for camouflage. So I'll put links to all that stuff in the description below. But GoPro camera, so I like to put it at about arm's length so I can get to it if I need to. And then I run the GoPro remote, and I put that right here so I can just easily reach down, hit the record button, and it records. So it's all hands-free. I don't have to move around a lot. Second camera, I'm using the Sony, I don't remember which camera I'm using. I'm using this camera right here. So I like it. I deer hunted with it all last year, and it's awesome camera. It's a little bit expensive. I think it was like $1,500, $2,000, something like that. So it's expensive, but it's a really good camera. So that's the camera that I'm using. And then this tripod, I just bought this tripod. You can see I use this cheap netting that I got on Amazon, and I drape that over the camera. And then what I like to do is, if I can, I'll find a little branch or something, and I'll hook it up on my right side so I'm blocked. So I have a nice blind from my right side, so if I have to move the tripod or anything, my movement is blocked by the netting. Another reason I like that camera is it can work with the remote. With the remote, I can zoom and record from right here on the remote, and also turn the power on and off. So I like using a camera that has a remote. Big deal for me. It's way better than having to come up to the camera to hit the zoom, hit the record, whatever, turn it on. You don't have to do that. Just get it right here, and it's theoretically behind my little netting, and I wear gloves, so this movement shouldn't be too much. Obviously turkey can see anything, so you gotta always be careful. But so we'll go over the tripod that I'm using. This is an Aoka really lightweight carbon fiber tripod. The reason I got this is whenever you're self-filming, you don't need the tripod to be really high, and most tripods come, they go really high, 5 feet tall or so. This one is just a miniature tripod. It's itty bitty. It only extends to about 2.5 feet tall, but you can see here it's fully compressed with a fluid head, and it's tiny. I could put that in my backpack if I wanted to. So that's why I really like this tripod. I think it only weighs 11 ounces. It weighs nothing. I, of course, stealth stripped it, and then I even put some paint. I painted the fluid head a little bit here just to break up the outline as much as humanly possible. And again, that's the remote that I use with the Sony camera. On, off, does everything. The remote's pretty important. So I like these little miniature tripods. It works really, really well. Been using it. I've used it now on several hunts. It's pretty easy. I keep the camera connected at all times, and then when I get to the the spot that I want to hunt, I just adjust the height. That fast. It's really easy, and you get it to the right height. For height on the tripod, I like it to be about knee height. Okay, so you can see there when I got my gun up on my knee, the camera theoretically can see everything that my gun can see. I like to keep it a little lower just because you also don't want to be reaching up. You want to minimize your hand movement as much as possible. So if I've got the stock of my gun, so if I've got the gun here and I'm ready for a shot, the way I want to do it is I want to be able to just right here, this move here. See that? That's the move. Minimal movement as possible. That's what I'm going for. Because you know, we all know that Tom, he's going to see it if I move. So the idea is he's coming in. Maybe I got to redo the camera. I could just move it. And I got my remote, so I'm zoom, tight, whatever, all right here. And I'm right back to the gun. So that's why I like that setup. And again, I'll put a link to the actual tripod in the description below. Then again, I've got the remote for my other camera, and it lives right here. I put it at the base of the tripod just so I can easily, you know, I'm trying to do everything with as minimal movement as possible. So my workflow when I shoot a turkey is going to be hit the record button on the 360 camera, and that thing will be rolling, and then I'll just move the tripod, you know, to wherever it needs to go. And the netting is pretty useful as well. You can do a lot of different things with that. The other day I even set up in a spot where I had very, very little cover, and so what I did is I was on a really small tree, so I took the netting and I basically just threw it over me like this, and then ran it over the camera. And so I have, you know, like a little makeshift blind here. When you don't have much cover, you can use this thing for lots of different reasons. But that's pretty much my self-filming setup. We talked about the second angle. We talked about the main camera. Talked about the tripod. I'll put links again, everything in the description below if you want it. And then make sure you camo everything up with stealth strips or with paint. And I did a video on how to do camo spray paint. That's what I did for pretty much everything. So check it out. Hopefully this helps you guys get better at your self-filming setup for turkey hunting.